Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you guys for tuning in. Today we're going to be doing a comparison video. So I don't know if you guys ever heard of the company Hush, but they were ever so kind to send me a bunch of eyeshadow palettes, and I've really wanted to compare one of the eyeshadow palettes, so I finally took a poll and I decided to compare the Anastasia Beverly Hills Prism palette. So this is what the Prism palette looks like. This one was a limited edition holiday edition for 2017, but Hush actually sent me one that's called Bad Habit Aurora, and it is an exact dupe for this palette. So I really just wanted to do a comparison video of these two palettes because this one was limited edition and it's no longer available. I was stuck between this one and I also got one that looks just like the Subculture palette that I really want to do a comparison video to. So if you guys like this video and you want to see the Subculture one, then for sure let me know and I'll 110% film that for you guys. I would be more than happy to film that for you guys. So I'm going to do swatches, comparisons, and then I'm going to do an eye look, and then we're just going to compare it and see how it turns out and see if this is a dupe. This palette retails for like $50 some and this palette retails for $10, you guys. So I'm praying that the quality is up there and it's kind of the same. People were disappointed with the quality of this palette, which I don't really know why. I did really enjoy this palette, so hopefully this one's kind of up to the standards. So without further ado, we're just going to get right in and do some swatches. So I am just going to do finger swatches because I really do not have time to do brush swatches and finger swatches. It is literally 9 o'clock at night and I just want to go to bed, to be honest. That's all I really want to do right now. So I'm going to swatch the Subculture palette on the top part of my arm, and then I'm going to swatch the Bad Habit palette on the bottom half of my arm. So I'm just going to go from like top row to the bottom row alongside my arm here. So here is the Subculture palette. So starting off from here, this is the shade Lucid, this is Eden, Unity, Sphinx, Osiris, Sphere, Obsidian, Dimension, Peril, Pyramid, Throne, Saturn, Eternal, and Lure. Okay, so I swatched the Aurora palette right underneath, and I must say, like, a lot of the matte shadows, like this one for example, and this one is a lot more chalky and powdery, but they do have a lot more pigment. The metallic shades are a lot more pigmented than the Prism palette, I would say. So this is the shade Phenomenon, Awakening, Dream State, Radiate, Destiny, Energy, Immortal, Ethereal, Vibe, Soul, Ecstasy, Mystique, Manifest, and Haze. So now I'm going to go in and actually do a makeup look with these two palettes. I'm going to do this Prism palette on this side and the Aurora palette on this side. I keep forgetting the name of this palette. I keep wanting to say Prism, but Prism on this side, Aurora one on this side. So I'm going to start off with the Prism palette, and I am going to take the shade Unity right here, this one, and I'm going to put that into my crease on a nice fluffy brush. I'm using the Morphe R40. I'm going to use my Sephora Color Switch palette thing to just swirl off the color of that shade so the brush is nice and clean. So I'm going to go dip into the Bad Habit palette now. I'm going to use the shade Dream State, so it's the exact same color. So there is a lot more kick up definitely with these shadows. So already the first thing that I'm noticing is the Prism side is a lot more pigmented than the Bad Habit side. But that's just one color, so I'm going to go in with a different brush now. So I'm going to go in with the Morphe R37. I'm going to take the color Eden from the Prism palette, so this pink right here. And I'm going to go into the shade Awakening from the Bad Habit palette. Okay, so the thing I noticed about that shade is the Bad Habit one is a lot more powdery and it doesn't work as well as I would like hope it would. I'm going to take the Morphe M330 to the shade Saturn. So just this orange color. And I'm going to start to really work that tightly into the crease, giving it kind of like a sunset-y effect. I'm just going to take my color switch and I'm just going to clean off that shade. Now I'm going to go into the shade Mystique right here, and I'm just going to do the same thing. Okay, so that shade I would say is like super comparable. I did not have a problem blending out that shade at all. It wasn't as chalky as like, I'd actually say it almost blended out better than the Prism side, but right now honestly like I can't really tell a difference. So now I'm going to take a finer brush. This is the Mikasa E230 and I'm going to go into the shade Lure. So it's just like this purpley shade here, and I'm going to just use that to deepen up the crease a little bit. And I'm just going to go in with the color Haze on this palette right here. I'm going to go into the color Peril. It's this like deep chocolatey brown right here. I'm going to take this on a finer, fluffier brush. This is just a brush I got off Amazon. I don't actually know the name of it. I'm going to take the shade Vibe. So one shade is, again, Prism is definitely more pigmented, but I actually do really like how that shade blended out. It almost blended out better than the Prism palette. I'm going to take the Sigma E55 and I'm going to go into the shade Sphinx. It's just this like bronzy color. It's probably one of my favorite colors in the palette. So we're just going to try this without any... Okay, I'm going to go in with just my finger. Okay, that works way better. I'm just going to put that like all over my lid. I'm going to try to go into Radiate first with the brush. So it's this shade right here. It's the exact same. And we're going to try that first. This one is a little bit more like crumbly and pigmented, so hopefully this works a little bit better. Wow, that went on so much better than the Prism palette. Okay, I'm just going to pack some. There's a lot of fallout with that shade, so I'm just going to pack some on with my finger. The shade is so pigmented. Oh, okay, I think I'm like in love with this shade. That shade is so much more pigmented than the Prism palette, but it is like way more fallout. Like I have so much fallout right here, which is okay because I knew I was going to get fallout anyways because I've already used the Prism palette and that palette has fallout. I'm going to take the shade Eternal from the Prism palette. It's kind of like a coppery, and I'm going to try to put that more in like the inner corner. So again, I'm going to go in my finger on this one just because I'm struggling. So just more over in the beginning. Okay, and now I'm going to go into Manifest. So same coppery orange shade, and I'm going to try this one on the brush just because these shades are so much more pigmented. Okay, I'm going to take that one on the finger. So I really want to take the shade Immortal and kind of make a wing out of it. So first I'm actually going to go clean up the sides. So I'm just using these Neutrogena Deep Clean Purifying Micellar Water towelettes. I'm not a fan of these, I just bought these. They were new. I'm not the biggest fan, but they'll probably be perfect for what I need. So I'm just going to take it and clean up all that fallout and just sharpen up that line. Just like that. There's so much more fallout on the side with, like, look at all that. Oh, it's so bad. And I'm going to take the shade Obsidian and I'm going to try to make like a wing with it, but not like a, and kind of like smoke it out just a little bit. So now just the same thing, I'm going to just use the color switch and then I'm going to go into the shade Immortal and use that one. I'm just going to go and finish the rest of my face and I'll be right back. I'm going to take the shade Obsidian I'm just going to take it on this flat Morphe M432, and I'm just going to push it like alongside my waterline. And I'm going to take the shade Immortal and do the exact same thing to the other side. I'm going to take the shade Osiris. So it's like this deep purple. And I'm just going to take this on the outer edge and kind of smoke out that black with this shade. Okay, and then I'm also going to take the shade Throne, this deep purpley green color that's amazing. And I'm just going to do that to the inner corner. And then I'm going to take the shade Eden, and I'm just going to smoke that edge out just a little bit. So now I'm just going to go back and do the same thing. So I'm going to go into Destiny. The shades are so much more pigmented. Oh. And then I'm going to go into the shade Ecstasy. Just going to go into the shade Awakening to just smoke it out just a little bit. Really, really tiny brush. I'm going to take Sphere, so that's the bright neon yellow one, and I'm just going to put that in the inner corner. It's not as bright as I want it to be. Okay, and I'm just going to color switch, and then I'm going to take the shade Energy from the Aurora palette. And I'm going to put that in the inner corner on the other side. The color doesn't really show up very well. I'm going to take the shade Lucid, which is like the whitey rose, like whitey champagne gold, and I'm going to highlight my brow bone. And I'm also going to take some of that shade and I'm going to just place it kind of more in the center of where Spear is, so it kind of sticks a little bit. So I'm just mixing Sphere and Lucid, just to give the eye just a little bit more of a pop. So now I'm going to go into Phenomenon on this side and take that and put that on the brow bone. Okay, so I'm just going to do some mascara. I think I'm going to add some lashes just because this eye is like super cat eye, so it looks a little weird. I'm going to put on the Amarizi highlight. I freaking love this highlighter. Alright guys, so this is the finished makeup look. So this is the Prism side. And this is the Bad Habit Aurora side. It is kind of like patchy right there because my eye is really watering, but I would honestly say these palettes are almost identical. I would say that the metallics and stuff are way better in this Aurora palette. I really do like the quality of these. They don't work very well with a brush. I think they work best with your finger or put a glitter glue on or something. In the Prism palette, I would say the mattes are like way better than they are in the Aurora palette. So either or, like if you missed it on this palette, this is still a very good palette, and I honestly do really like the shimmers in this palette. They are so much more pigmented and so much more like usable and wearable and like user friendly. Like I feel like anybody can use this, make this palette work for $10 though, you guys. Like if you missed out on the Prism palette, it's such a wonderful palette. So one thing I do have to say about these palettes is I am a very big Anastasia like fan, so I like to collect these. They just, I don't know, I'm a collector, right? So this is just a more suitable palette for me personally, but I do really freaking love the shimmers in this one. And if you did miss out on the Prism palette, this is a great option to go to. I 110% recommend you go pick up this palette. For 10 bucks, like I said, you can't complain. I also did get one that's like a subculture dupe, so if you guys really want to see that video, please let me know by commenting down below and telling me you would like that video. I really want to do that video because one of the Subculture is one of my absolute favorite palettes. I really do love that palette. So without further ado, thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you guys subscribe and stay a while. We're almost at 300 subscribers, which is pretty freaking exciting to me. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you really like this video. I got lots of dupes actually coming up. I'm going to do a drugstore dupes video. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you do hit that like button down below. And I hope you guys have a great night or day wherever you are. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!